Today in the episode, Mad Lab, experimenting with a sideways car that is not a hover. Voice of the Wasteland, where we read your messages to the sound of another skirmish outside and choose the craft of the episode. And a traditional start with The Workshop, Mastodon. Explosions, cars crashing into each other, parts of vehicles flying at nigh supersonic speeds, the glory of a good wasteland brawl. Is there anything more precious than that? Well, maybe just the guns that we use to cause all that sweet, sweet destruction. Fortunately, survivors discover new weapons all the time. And today, we're going to speak about one of the newer arrivals, the biggest gun of the wasteland, the mighty Mastodon. Some of you might say that we don't actually need yet another turret gun. Didn't the Scavengers make like 70 different types of them throughout the years? The Mastodon isn't just another turret gun, though. See for yourselves. This is the only high-caliber cannon capable of firing in a 2-round burst when fully charged. And the cherry on top is that the first shot heats all parts within the blast radius, meaning that consecutive hits in the same place will be very appreciated by the enemy. Because they're being fast-tracked to heaven, of course. Obviously, the Mastodon can also be used just as a regular cannon. This can come in handy if an enemy appears out of the blue. Say hi with a single round or two first, and then just keep on pressing fire until they go up in flames. Thankfully, the Mastodon can endure quite a lot of punishment with a durability of 1,505. Are there any flaws? Of course! This thing is bloody big and is heavier than a Scavenger strike team. No joke, this Relic Car Smasher is the heaviest gun in the game. 3 bloody tons! Yeah, we'll need to find wheels in a cabin that are up to the challenge. So let's go straight to our garage to do exactly that. As is tradition, our engineer has already assembled a car that we're going to pick apart and ride to combat. Let's see. An engine boosting our reload, some ammo, a cab with a high mass limit, and a helpful perk. 2 brand new turret cannons, and 4 Goliaths? What? Will it even make it to the enemy? Oh yeah, it will. Even more than that. Arguably, it doesn't even matter what your car is using to move around. With the Mastodon on board, you're turning into a juggernaut anyway. You're not just exchanging fire with the enemy, you're hammering on them with endless shots, beating them into submission. It also helps that our tank, which is moving in reverse by the way, can easily, tank shots and literally push enemies around. Our hide is quite thick, so we can survive quite a few hits. Just don't let your target get too far away. The Mastodon wasn't really built with long-range precision fire in mind. Roll out and crush the opposition one enemy at a time. There is no rush. We have a round for everyone. You get a shot, everybody gets a shot. Fear my wrath. That was fun. And now, a short commercial break.
They had 20 meters of wire, a pipe, some duct tape, and this wreck of a car. It took them only 6 days of work in the shed to turn all of that into a single junk bowl. This life hack and other amazing tips in Trash Treasures, a new Wasteland bestseller. No reading skills required.
You can find almost anything in the wastes. Every survivor brings something to the table. New types of vehicles appear out of nowhere. Some of them become truly popular, some are quickly forgotten, and some are simply never seen. The design that we want to discuss today belongs to the latter category. It's the proud, sideways car. We have sideways hovers, even sideways leg walkers. Why not cars that drive sideways? Let's try to find out. And most importantly, let's test our own take on this cursed design. Let's start with a bit of theory. Every single viable contraption that you see in the wastes has a function and offers some kind of an advantage, or even some advantages. For example, sideways hovers make for a very small target, and sideways leg walkers use their legs as armor, making full use of their durability and resistances so that the Jolly Knights of the Order of the Holy Buzzsaw and the Blessed Harvester have difficulty getting to the juicy bits of their car. When it comes to a regular car driving sideways, though, there's a bit of a problem. It's simple. There's no distinct advantage to get out of this. Basically, you have to use meat grinders to truly be able to move sideways. And meat grinders, well, are not known for their small size. A build of this type isn't very maneuverable either. If we're using meat grinders, our car won't be able to turn really well. We mean, it can turn to one side, but the other's kind of a no-go, especially at high speeds. With all that said, we're still gonna bloody try to build a car like that. This kind of difficulty can't stop the brave and stupid men of the Mad Lab, so here we go. The experimental sideways meat grinderer of the garage. Its unique selling point is that it can shoot in 2 directions, and we partially solved the maneuverability issue with some clever meat grinder placement. As our main armament, we choose porcupines. 4 relic barrel throwers will cost us a pretty penny, but we're going into high PS battles. It's an 11,000 PS build after all, so it'll all be worth it. Maybe. Hopefully. Please pray for our souls. We're not particularly speedy, or sturdy for that matter, so we have to stay close to our teammates and try to respond to all emerging threats ASAP. It's certainly doable, sometimes, and sometimes it's not. And after a while it becomes clear that survivors don't use this design for a very valid reason. It's big, it's slow, and it's hard to control as well. That's a holy trinity of reasons right there. It can put up a fight, and sometimes a hell of a fight, but you'd get better results with almost any kind of a different configuration. Well, we had to try. This is what Mad Lab is all about, after all, trying out all sorts of crazy stuff and suffering because of it. Ouch. And remember, we're always happy to see your suggestions and challenges and read all the comments, so feel free to come up with the most devious or insane ideas. You've seen the segment, you know we'll like them. The first message was sent by Mage Aramil. Wasteland's Untold Secrets number 213. Playing Leviathans against enemy Leviathans. When will we see it? Hi, Mage. Epic Leviathan on Leviathan action will come back to Clan Wars from time to time, 3000%. It's not an easy mode to work with, though, as the game has to do unusual things, like picking pilots for available Leviathans, and we have to make it work within our existing matchmaking system. Just so that you're aware. But it's a lot of fun, so sure. Albin Morel asks, would it be possible to have something like a sandbox garage with every part available to try new crafts, to see if I prefer one over another with parts I don't own yet? Hi Albin, we considered a feature like this, but ultimately decided that exhibition test drives, as well as a plethora of guides and reviews that you guys make, provide enough info to make an informed choice when choosing new parts or modules. This might change in the future though. The next message was sent by one of our regulars, Cheese on Vase. Hey devs, any plans to make it so that when you kill an enemy you can honk and it will reward the person who died with a little scrap metal just as a way to say, good game, and to reduce aggression and toxicity against survivors? This would make honking at people when you kill them to be seen as a nice thing. Damn me if that isn't the most wholesome thing I read today. It might backfire in lots of ways, but it's a really cool concept. Thanks, mate. Finally, Ordo Malleus writes, OG Show Voice had a bad run in life and is now forced to sell grills in the wastes. It's not a bad life, though. Hey, do you want to buy a grill? And now the last, and probably the most important part of the garage, where we show you one craft from the exhibition that conquered the hearts of the team this time. Today, the vehicle in the limelight is this beauty right here, the Reaper 02 by Master Torgrimus. But wait, isn't it too conventional? Where's all the weird stuff? Where are the surprise rocket boosters or, let's say, unconventionally placed meat grinders, huh? No oddities this time. You know, sometimes you just want to ride a well-designed and well-built car that simply does its job. Well, here it is. An effective and pretty Reaper build. Thanks, Master Torgrimus. Quality work right there. That's it for today. Tell us what you think in the comments below, ask us questions, and if we somehow survive the massive party marking 6 months with the Garage 2.0, we'll return with some new cool content in a couple of weeks. If you like what we're doing, consider subscribing, leave a like, and good luck.